because it just looks a little bit pathetic. You know, you've got to go on to the next stage in life, and to be hankering after it, missing it, you know, wishing it would all be there again, wishing it was somehow here again, to coin the words of the song. It kind of like, you know, I thought it was a little bit, you know, that was for people that weren't in control of their emotions, so I kind of didn't do that. So, and therefore, but I think I might have taken it too far to the opposite extreme. Anyway, going off and living in a different country, it was hard to keep, at the time, it was hard to keep contact up with people who I had really liked at university, you know, friends, really good friends, really quality friends that I had, but, you know, they all went and did their things. They went and got married. I got married to my first wife, and she wasn't massively sociable, my first wife. She wasn't somebody that would have relished meeting up with, you know, she would do it occasionally, but, you know, in the main, she wasn't very happy with it. She liked to limit that sort of thing. And certainly that, plus being away completely from the country, that made those bonds got broken with those friends, yeah. And I don't think that I'm the only one that does that. I think that that's very common for people to get on with their careers and then really forget the friends that they had at university, which is sad. Obviously they remember them from time to time, but they don't remember them enough to be continually keeping in contact with them. But now the technology that exists with social media, I was just kind of noticing that, you know, even on things like just being on the internet, I was actually making friends and keeping easy conversations going just in the course of either discussing the films that I've got on YouTube, or before that, groups that I was in Usenet for a while. That's where I started on the internet. That's why my channel's name is Usenet Posts. Please subscribe if you're not already subscribed to it. I posted a lot on Usenet for a while, and kept friendships going on Usenet for, you know, I think I was on Usenet for about 4 years, which is not as long as I've been on YouTube, but because that's where I started, I still have that one of the names that I go by is still Usenet Posts. And I don't go there much now either, because that's all been superseded. You can do much more on www 2.0 than you could on the various things like bulletin boards or Usenet, which was an early stage of the technology. I mean, this is before Facebook came along. I think MySpace was the first thing. A lot of people went onto that. I looked at it, I didn't think there was an awful lot nice about it at first. And then when I looked at Facebook, I thought, wow, well, this is not very, you know, we're discussing sorts of really detail, and we're threading out, you know, big, massive discussions that go on for months and months. And this is just facile. But nevertheless, there's many more layers to it, you see. So you can be a bit less, you can be a bit deeper with Facebook and things like that if you want to, and certainly with LinkedIn you can be as deep as you like, and with YouTube you can be as deep as you like, but it becomes much more immediate, because once you bring in things like image and film and all of those other things, here we are, it looks like I've got a red light. That's a bit unfortunate, isn't it? It's not very good, but you've got to accept that they will happen on a journey. It's now 16.5, so that's 4 well, not quite 4 thousandths of the journey that you've been with me. I can't talk forever about this. It's 20 minutes, and of course that won't work to keep on, but I'm just setting the scene. This is going to be obviously a series, because I can't do this all as one big long thing. Nobody's going to put up with that. Nobody's going to watch, you know, all of this in one go, so I'm going to break it up into pieces. Yeah, we've actually come a long way in the discussion, haven't we? Because now we're already in the effectively in how various modern tools enable you to keep up again with people in a way which wasn't possible, you know, just by telephone calls or you know, that was expensive to do an international telephone call, or to sending a letter was more time consuming, and it didn't have that immediacy either. You have to wait for a while until people would get the letter would come back, and so you really had to be, you know, very keen on keeping a contact going and very proactive in it for that to happen. Whereas, I mean, the way that things set up, I mean, I notice even on YouTube, I've been discussing, you know, in the main, just playing game after game with the same people. Sometimes when there's one guy I've never set eyes on him, he comes from Cambridge. area, and I've never set eyes on him, but I know that he's one of the guys I play Halma with, and I've played Halma with that guy. Well, I can remember playing Halma with that particular guy about 8 years ago at the airport, and I'd already been playing him about a year at least at that time. So I think I've been playing this guy for about 9 years at Halma, and I kind of know him. I know, for example, that this guy has. Well, I don't want to. I haven't identified the person, so I can tell you, he's managed to get his. For a health reason, he went to the doctor to find out if he had a certain health issue that I won't disclose, and it turned out that he had this health issue. And the first thing that they did is that he confiscated his driving license. This is a guy who needs to drive to work. I was shocked. But I know these things about people, they're just chatting away, and over the course of 9 years, you kind of become friends with somebody that you haven't even seen. And of course on YouTube there are many other people that many of you watching now will know that this is the case between you and me and you and other people. And so why not then try to bring back in the people that you were at university with? It makes sense, doesn't it? So that means that I've been on a kind of, well, I haven't been on a mission to do it, I think that's putting it too strongly, but I've been on the lookout to try and find the people that I have been friends with in the past and then lost contact with. And that's why I put myself, put details about myself out on different places, so if they want to find me, they can find me. And I've also sometimes searched out them and found them, and when I found them, I've sent out. And I've been doing searches on the people that are not very active on the internet, tried to find them, sent out requests on Facebook and things like that. Possibly sometimes to even the wrong ones, people that have the same name but may not be the same people because they don't have, like images or much detail about themselves. It's just a name there with nothing else, and not had much of a response, which may be that they've moved on. I mean, I know one person I did find, and I rang him up, and he said, yeah, it's me, but a lot of water's gone under the bridge, and I'm not really particularly somebody that likes to renew those old things. And that's fair enough. I mean, it's not obligatory to try and get into the same stream twice, as it were. You don't have to do it. You don't have to feel guilty if you don't want to do it, I think. But in my case, it's interesting to know. For me, it's interesting to know what happens to the people, what has happened to the people that you've shared some of your life with.